Producer Pranav Prasana to turn up.
TSB, the Fans Forum, with Pranav Prasana. Talk 100.3.
The man is back. How are you? Excited about the games tonight?
Absolutely. It's do or die for England and Wales as well. Iran are in a comfortable position, and in fact a very interesting position as well, where I think they look confident about moving to the next stages. The USA as well, they did it in 2014. They in fact had a historic run back then, and they will look to replicate that with their game as well against Iran.
Well, Neil, you were talking about this group. So this is Group B that's in question tonight from 11 o'clock.
That's right.
Currently, it's England on top, 2 matches, 4 points. Iran, 2 matches, 3 points. USA, 2 matches, 2 points, 2 draws. Wales, 2 matches and just the 1 point. So, you know, theoretically, any of the 4 sides could go through.
That's right.
Mathematically.
Mathematically,
Realistically, it's England and the other spot is going to be divided between the other 3.
Between the other two.
between the other two.
Because
well,
Iran or
realistically,
USA.
I think Wales are out. Realistically and mathematically.
No, mathematically they're still in.
Still in.
Mathematically they're still in.
If
If they
they-
beat England,
Right.
If they beat England, they'll jump on to 4 points.
And they're same as England at that time.
Yeah.
If
And if
Iran
they're-
go
okay,
on
draw-
to beat the USA.
Or if Iran draw with the USA, Iran also go to 4 points.
Yes, but it's the goal difference which is the issue.
Correct. That's why
Goal
mathematically. Oh, so yeah. So you.
On
no,
goal difference,
On goal difference, Wales could actually make it. Because for Wales, it's -2. If they win against England, it'll go into a better goal difference.
they have to score about 4 goals,
No,
or
no,
at
no.
least 3 goals to get
Okay.
into a better one.
yeah, sure. So they win
It's
3-0.
Mathematically still possible. That's what we're saying. Mathematically still
That is
possible.
extreme maths over
It
here.
is.
They win 3-0. They make it
We've
through.
seen Saudi beat.
3-0.
What's better is if Iran draw with USA, then you're left with 3 teams on 4. You're left with
Yes.
3 teams on 4 points.
That's
yes,
right.
and that's when the goal differences come into play. But
And if that draw happens, Iran stays on a goal difference of -2, in which case, even if Wales wins by 1 goal against England, they'll have a goal difference of -1 and they will qualify.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I mean, see, that's the difference. No one said that Saudi would beat Argentina, right?
Well, look, we're having these many doubts and questions, and we're having these arguments. One such argument yesterday was, of course, and you guys were watching the Portugal game as well versus Uruguay.
Yeah.
Did Cristiano Ronaldo
Actually, no.
have
I went.
contact on that header? You know,
Well,
there was a lot of debate.
Cristiano thinks so.
Yes, he did.
What do you think,
I don't think he does.
Neil?
He does
No.
not have a goal.
No, see, I'll tell you what went wrong. Cristiano Ronaldo forgot to spike his hair up. Only
hair
if he had
gel.
spiked his hair with the hair gel, it would have been his goal. Because then the hair would have just touched the ball and that would have been a goal. But, you know, his new hairstyle where he's got all his hair sit down nice like a good boy, that's what messed it up for Ronaldo.
Well, reports have just come in from Adidas, and they have confirmed, because they have high-powered sensors within the ball to detect, you know, everything that when it comes to contact, when it comes to offside. So, putting this technology into use, they confirmed that Ronaldo did not have a contact on the ball, regardless of, you know, multiple angles and, you know, frames can show that Cristiano was close to the ball. He was, but it's that bare margins. And there was also, in cricket, this is pretty familiar to all of us, a sneako, for example. For the first time ever, I saw a video that was posted by FIFA using a sneako. So when he takes a kick, when Bruno sends that ball in, there's a huge spike. When the ball lands, there's a huge spike then. But when the ball and Ronaldo are together in the same frame, it's absolute flatline.
See, also Ronaldo is a brand ambassador of Nike. Adidas would have never liked that.
Well, I mean, just talking about the match itself, we said it was going to be physical, and it really was. I mean, you look at the yellow cards that Uruguay had to take from their side, they definitely did not look like a winning side. You look at Cavani, you look at Luis Suarez, who came on for later, aged players. And these guys don't have the momentum, they don't have the pace to carry on to be Uruguay's main attack. That's what the coach and as well as the team lack. Talking about the defensive, they did well defensively, but it was the moments, the lapse in concentration, like Bruno's cross with Cristiano being involved in it. The player was played off onside. You try and keep a high line every single time there's a cross being played in, but there's one player, and it's margins like that which matter.
No,
Now,
obviously, yes.
Looking away from football at the moment to Ferrari. Ferrari boss to Benito is going to be leaving at the end of the year. Is this the worst kept secret in F1?
I think it is. Oh, it's one among many.
This was like, it was just about the corner. End of the season, this would have happened. We were all expecting it. It wasn't something that came in as a shock to people. Sooner or later, this news would have been out. Yeah,
it's one among many worst kept secrets, so you might say, Kitch, because when we were down in Abu Dhabi, almost everyone in the paddock, journalists and reporters, knew that Mattia, he was at the end of his stint in Ferrari. Now, the idea was he would step down as team principal but be involved in future projects. What has happened now is he stepped down completely from Ferrari, which means he ends a 28-year stint with them. He's had successful years being involved in the team, in Michael's tenure as a world champion, with Kimi Raikkonen winning a world championship as well. The rumour that came up in the last couple of days was that the team principal from Alfa Romeo would be taking over in Ferrari. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but as of now, it's curtains for Mattia Binotto.
Look, the other story that we didn't really touch on yesterday, and we can bring it up now, that Gaikwad became the first cricketer to hit 7 sixes in an over in a limited overs match when he was doing it in that bet on Monday.
Only 7?
Yes, only 7.
Well, yeah, 6 legal deliveries, 1 no ball. Even that was sent for a 6. It's huge for someone to do that. To maintain that mindset, to have the temperament. Yes, there are conversations going on that the boy who was bowling to him is a new kid on the block,
Shiva Singh.
Yeah, but then see, hey. He's even if he's a new kid on the block, he's still playing at the first class level. Vijay Hazare Trophy is one of the high ranked tournaments of the country, which is a proper 50-over tournament, and you can't reach there by just being a rookie. You have to have skills, and if he's been taken for runs, I think Ruturaj Gaikwad has stamped his authority.
Well, I'm going to ask you now that I've got you. I'm going to play Quizmaster here. Who has hit 6 sixes in an over in professional cricket?
Professional, you mean domestic?
Yeah, professional cricket, so it means sort of first-class cricket and up.
Ravi Shastri?
Yeah.
Herschel Gibbs? Yuvraj Singh?
Herschel Gibbs. Ravindra Jadeja, is he in the mix? No, he's hit 37 runs. That's not 6.
No, that's not.
We have Karen Pollard.
Yes, in 2021, West Indies versus Sri Lanka.
We have Karen Pollard in there. That's as far as I can remember.
68, it was Sir Garfield Sobers. Oh. That's the one you forget. That was the first black and white footage of him hitting the balls, Nottingham versus Glamorgan all the way up the street.
Yeah.
84, Ravi Shastri did it for Bombay versus Baroda. 2007, Herschel Gibbs, South Africa versus the Netherlands. Yuvraj Singh, India versus England in 07.
Yes.
2017... the legend that is Ross Whiteley did it for Worcestershire versus Yorkshire in the T20. In 2018, this gets forgotten about, for the Kabul Ziwan versus the Bullock Legends in the T20, it's Hazrutullah Zazai.
Oh, Hazrutullah Zazai, wow.
Hit 6 sixes. Leo Carter did it for Canterbury versus Northern Districts. That'll be the New Zealand comp. Kiran Pollard, West Indies versus Sri Lanka. Tisara Pereira did it for Sri Lankan domestic crickets at the Sri Lankan Army Sports Club in 2021, and then Gaikwad doing it just yesterday, 7 sixes. So he's in his own category, but they're putting him in the 6 sixes club.
Well, that's a league of their own to be a part of. Can you imagine hitting 6 sixes, let alone 7 back to back? Well, these guys have done that. Kitch, I want to ask you before we conclude the fans forum.
Yes.
Back in Australia, we're moving on to red ball cricket, Australia versus West Indies. How's the atmosphere?
Well, what's really ironic about this is that they're playing the first test match in Perth. Now, the Perth pitch is known as the Wacker. That was notoriously the fastest pitch probably in the world at one point, where Curtly Ambrose once bowled a spell of 7 for 1 with cracks as wide as the Grand Canyon. And you know what? The West Indies lineup, their batting's their weakness. Their bowling, Kumar Roach is still there. You've got Jason Holder. Their bowling's probably going to hold Australia to account. It's their batting that's really going to be their issue, I think, for the West Indies.
Yeah, I mean, even the bowling, Kitch, the issue with West Indies is that they don't... I personally feel they've ceased playing like a team. They with so much of franchise cricket that every single individual plays, they play with others, they play for money, they play for I know I'm going into this franchise side. I'm getting paid so much. I have to win 3 games for them in the entire tournament, and that's what I'll do. They go with that mindset, and which is not right when you're playing for your country.
It's not, but this is also a West Indies side that have beaten England at home. They beat Bangladesh at home, and so much has been put on Shiv Chanderpaul's son, who looks exactly like Shiv Chanderpaul.
Bats exactly like him.
Yeah, it's incredible. So I think that Brian Lara's down there doing a lot of media work, and he's just basically saying, a bit like me when I support my Socceroos side, you just want to just see them play and play to their best. And like anything, if they show heart and they still lose, but they've given the best they can, that's all you can ask for.
Speaking of media work, Pat Cummins is one of those guys who's spoken out to the media, and in specific, he's spoken about the Justin Langer podcast that I think we played a couple of days ago, and he's gone and said that there's no cowards in the team. I mean, how much do Australian fans actually believe of what Pat Cummins says now?
I think that Justin Langer, I think you can see why the players got tired of him, because he's just so intense. You know, he is so, everything that made him tremendous as a batsman, he's just his singular vision, his intensity.
But that's what made Australia win. Right now, Australia's not feared.
It's what made Australian players win. The coach was quite different at that time. There was a fellow called John Buchanan who was trying to get players to bat left-handed and right-handed and bowl right, and was all about let's go on ambicams. It wasn't, siege football mentality. What's funny about Justin Langer, we did the press conference saying, there are some people the media recorded as sources. I call them cowards. And then 2 days later he said, I'm sick of everyone talking about this. There's no cowards in the team. I get along well with everyone. So the PR machine has gone into overdrive. We're all friends. The CEO, looking forward to catching up with Justin. Pat Cummins, I've no problem with Justin. Yeah. Everyone, they've come in and they've just thrown the fire blanket across it all and said, listen, let's all say we all get on. We've got a test that starts on Friday.
I don't think so. The
that's
fire
what they've
blankets,
tried to do.
They've tried, and I think they've failed successfully, because come the test match day 1 at WACA, I think it's the Optus Stadium now. It's not the WACA anymore. I think there's going to be a lot of boos for Pat Cummins. I think a lot of players are going to cop a few boos in
just on this, before we quickly wrap up the fans forum, there's the question, is the Australian cricket team out of favour with the Australian public? And the answer is actually cricket is on the nose. People are just sick. Australian fans are just sick of so much cricket. We just had a 3-match series against England. They had 10,000 people in
and
the
no
game.
one came to watch.
And no one
turned
went
up.
because they just had a World Cup, and then they had a one, and then they've had T20s all. Australia's over cricket.
Yeah, BBL's coming around the corner.
BBL, they've had WBL, and it goes on and on and on. So they're getting behind the Socceroos tomorrow night versus Denmark. TSB Talk Sport Business.